Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to On the Mic with Mike. It is the premier business radio program around. I'm your host, Mike King. Appreciate you being here with us. The views expressed hereby have no connection to, support of, agreement with any other host, information, or ads on the station. I don't work for these stations. My programs just air here on a daily basis. Join me at this cutting edge show. We uplift the community and showcase RVA in a different way. The sound you're listening to today, hey, this is a road trip. We've been like LeBron. We took our talents further south. We're down in Petersburg. With me today, I got the mayor of Petersburg. Welcome, sir.
All right. Thank you, Michael.
All righty, sir. What we do is when we start off here, let's get this is a business show. Let's get the elevator pitch for Petersburg.
All right. First of all, happy to have everyone join us here today to talk about the city of Petersburg, which is a historic city, 25 miles south of the city of Richmond, which is experiencing a great resurgence. Our downtown area is really experiencing a boom right now, and I know people have seen us in the news recently about our pharmaceutical cluster that is
big news.
Forming between Ampak, Civica, and Floor here. It's something we're excited about, and that is bringing manufacturing back to the city of Petersburg, and this is also putting the city back on the map. If anyone knows Petersburg, back 40 years ago, we were a big tobacco town that did a lot of manufacturing of tobacco cigarettes. We have Brown and Williamson Tobacco here, which was like our largest employer at the time. Seward Luggage, Titmus Optical, and throughout the 80s, we lost a lot of those companies, folded up, moved away, and it left a huge suction cup here inside the city of Petersburg, in which we didn't have the amount of good paying jobs that are coming now with the pharmaceutical cluster between Ampak, Civica, and Flow. They're looking at bringing jobs here that's going to be around $80,000 per year as far as wages, and our between people moving back into the city, we have a huge amount of young people now that's coming back into the city because we have a stroll district down in Petersburg. We are really a foodie town. If you like good food, Mike, you can come on down. This is it. We have lots of bakeries and a lot of Italian restaurants, steakhouses. We have the Croaker Spot that's down in our old farmers market building, and they are doing really good there. So it's something that we've become known not just for our history, but for entertainment and for having a place to be able to live, work, and play.
On the mic with Mike here with the mayor of Petersburg. We're coming to you from the Grove. This is part of Poplar Springs Hospital. We'd like to thank our good friends for hosting us today. Also, a shout out to John Brandt and the Chamber, always doing really big things. One of the great parts about Poplar Springs Hospital, they sponsored John Brandt and the Chamber, the newly formed SOFA, to come back to radio. So you can catch John Brandt and all the great things happening in the Tri-Cities on the mic with Mike. This is part of the Mike King Biz Radio Network, which is ESPN Richmond 106.1. That's 5 to 7 every day. The Choice 2 to 3 on, that's gospel, as well as International Business Growth Radio. That is Saturdays, 10 a.m. We've taken our talents on a global scale, talking to business owners and game changers out there. Mr. Mayor, let's put a wrap on 2021. It's the same thing I asked Mayor Stoney. Let's put a wrap on 2021, and where are we at with 2022 that you would want people to know about Petersburg?
I would say that Petersburg right now is the best bargain in the central region right now.
People say that from a real estate standpoint, the word on the street is.
Yes, the word is on the street that Petersburg is the place to come and invest. Our housing stock has definitely been ramped up. We have Ryan Homes here building homes, and they can't build them fast enough. We have a lot of our old manufacturing buildings that have been bought up and being developed now for upscale lofts and apartments. And we still have a lot of historic homes. If you like the 18th, 19th century architecture, Petersburg is the place that you can come and you can spend $150,000, $170,000 and get your dream home and revitalize it and be able to work on it and have a nice, safe place that you can be proud of. So and going into 22, we want to continue to grow. I know the city of Petersburg, our last census shows that we've gained 1,000 people after losing population
That's
in
big.
the 80s and 90s. So people are moving back into the city, and would like to just tell people, come and check out Petersburg if you're looking to have a nice affordable place to live with the amenities of having a hospital, having a mall nearby, and not the traffic and the hustle and bustle of being in the big city. Petersburg is a pretty quiet, quaint town, and everybody that gets here really loves the experience that they get here as being part of Petersburg.
Let's talk about the Tri-Cities. When we talk about the Tri-Cities, we start off with Petersburg.
Yes.
What does a strong Petersburg mean to the others that are part of the Tri-Cities?
A strong Petersburg means everything, Mike, because you got to realize we have the largest population between all of the three cities that make up the Tri-Cities. And also having Fort Lee and Virginia State here in our backyard, Petersburg has, we're not landlocked like the city of Hopewell and the city of Colonial Heights are. So we have a lot of land available for expansion. And on top of that, I joke a lot of times with Mayor Kachu in Colonial Heights that we kind of exchange residents. A lot of my people from Petersburg like going to Golden Corral. A lot of his residents from Colonial Heights like going downtown to Maria's and Raging Cajun and Long Streets and Dixie Restaurant. So therefore we have to create a synergy, and a strong Petersburg is good for the region because we are battling everybody on a global level now. And therefore, we know that in coming together as a unit, that we are able to grow our localities and also provide a solid foundation of how relationships are between the three localities. So a strong Petersburg is everything. You know, most of Colonial Heights, Chesterfield, the counties, population spun off from the city of Petersburg. You know, we provided the water infrastructure and so much of the gas works. All of that was based on the city of Petersburg. So a strong Petersburg is still vital because it's a lot of areas like Prince George County that's dependent on the city of Petersburg to put together our water infrastructure. We serve a lot of Prince George County.
Okay.
So as we are rebuilding our sewer and wastewater systems, they're depending on the city of Petersburg to be able to have a strong infrastructure in order to service areas that they can't get to in the surrounding counties. So
On the mic with Mike, we're here at Poplar Springs Hospital. This is the Grove. So they are a leader in mental health, substance abuse. So if you have a problem, make sure you contact them. You can hear them always weekly on ESPN Richmond 106.1 with me. I'm here with Mike King. When we talk about this, is I always say, joke with people, this is a business show and we are on ESPN. You guys have a newly in place economic development person, correct?
yes, yes.
Okay, let's talk about economic development and how do you attract business to come to Petersburg? Because people, the word on the street, as I'm just a humble talk show host, the word on the street is Petersburg is attracting businesses. And like you said, the cluster for the pharmaceuticals is big.
Yes, it's huge.
But that also spins off to a lot of smaller businesses that are going to be able to grow from that.
Exactly.
So how do you guys attract business to come to you here?
What we've been doing, especially on the economic development front, we have just hired Brian Moore as the economic development director. And what we're doing is we changed over a lot of our zoning and a lot of our large parcels from agriculture to business. And also, like you said, a big piece of that is solving our infrastructure problems, which was on this Poor Creek wastewater side. We have about $30 million worth of upgrades to be done. We've secured loans to get it done. We also part of the state has 26 million in this year's General Assembly budget to help us with the Poor Creek infrastructure. And I have the privilege of serving on the Activation Capital with Activation Capital on the Advanced Manufactured Pharmaceutical Cluster that we have, which we are pursuing. We are finalists for the Build Back Better EDA grant, which will be given to $100 million, which again will help solve a lot of our infrastructure issues. And we want to be able to put a water tower and a high pressure water zone, along with providing expansions to a new fire station, things of that nature of that end. it's important, Mike, because, Dr. Edwards, who is president of Flow Corporation, says that once we solve the infrastructure problems, we are just like McDonald's, Wendy's, and Burger King. We're here now, but you haven't seen our competitors yet.
That's true.
So once we get all this in place, we plan to see even more expansion of the pharmaceutical industry. But yet we're happy that we have Boar's Head here who's also made announcements that they're going to be expanding the Petersburg plant here in the city. And on top of that, we have a tremendous amount of Petersburg is known as an incubator for a lot of small businesses. So partnering with Floyd Miller Metropolitan Business League, he's been helping to groom a lot of our small, innovative young business people who want to, who has a product or has an idea. He's helping to put that on paper. And
shout out to Floyd and those guys. That
yes.
The young persons, the bridge, that young board.
Yes.
They got some dynamic young people.
Yes, they have some
working there.
dynamic
And
young people, and we have a place over at the Cameron Building, which provides that little small incubator offices for the business to get off hand. And also Floyd is over there too at the City Point Innovation Center. So it was important for us to bring Floyd here because Floyd is spectacular. And
yes, he is.
And that's what we've needed in Petersburg for quite some time, is to have that type of support in order to get our young entrepreneurs, especially our young entrepreneurs of color as well, who have never had the opportunity to open up their own business and don't have the means of what it takes to do it. And because we don't get taught in school on how to file your taxes, how you're gonna need insurance, how you're gonna how you have to draw up your business plan and things of that nature. So we're growing in the large business, but we also want to grow our small young entrepreneurs and provide them the tools that they need to be successful.
So on the mic with Mike King is here. We're talking all great things about Petersburg. Sir, I am from a city that some people may not call a sexiest city. I'm from Philadelphia. And so one of the things that people always fight is the perception of Philly.
Yes.
We take it personal.
Yes.
Yes, we do. Sometimes people look at Petersburg a certain kind of way.
Yes.
You as the mayor, how do you change people's perception? I know for us winning the Super Bowl, it was great. It lasted about 15 minutes.
Yeah, I remember.
Exactly. So yes, I remember.
And then the coach was gone right after that, right?
Everything associated with that Super Bowl is gone.
Yeah, Nick Foles gone.
Yeah, that's right. So what happens is that sometimes you don't understand how to enjoy success.
Exactly.
And that may be our problem.
Exactly.
How do you change people's perception of Petersburg?
The biggest thing we have to do, Mike, is on a marketing standpoint, is to be able to promote these wins, because we have a lot of the positive that's going, but we have to blow our own horn, because the major news are always concerned about who has shot who. News is what I call it.
They'll be here first.
Right. They're here first for that.
Yeah, for that.
So we have to get out and blast all of our major networks and getting with you, Mike, to tell our story just like we're doing today. That you see this the violence issue that has plagued Philly as well, but it's not some random violence. Okay.
No.
This is called conflict resolution. Okay. One of our last shootings we had about a week ago. Okay. It was a nephew that got mad with the uncle, and they got into an argument, and he ended up shooting and killing his uncle.
That's nothing that has to do with anything but family.
Right. And it's those things that is beyond the city's control, but our police chief is doing a great job of getting out here and trying to catch our younger people while they're in school, and they in elementary school, to say, hey, if I'm mad with you, Mike, I may be mad with you today, but there's nothing that should result in any type of violence
that lasts a lifetime.
All right. And it's a lot of, most of our elements we have with our violence is all someone that knows somebody that is either drug related or domestic. And it's changing the perception of the news, covering that, and to cover things like we had a great announcement last month about our event space, the harbor space, in which we're going to start having the 5,000 to 7,000 people festivals like Browns Island,
okay,
down on the river in Petersburg. So it's things like that we have to show that here. we have this based on a huge demand that we have in Petersburg, because people like to come to Petersburg to have a good time. And what happens is they had really we've outgrown our downtown area, so we had to create this new event space. And when people come, they're going to show that the city of Petersburg is safe, that the city of Petersburg is a place you can have a good time, you can have some good food, and you're not going to see that whole element of violence. The pockets of violence is in the same areas that we
Over
know
and over again.
over
We're
and
not
over
going to
again.
think, that's not going to be the first thing we think
Exactly.
of when we think of Petersburg.
Right.
So when I talked to the good folks here at Poplar Springs, they all are involved with the Rotary.
Yes.
I hear you're down with the Rotary too.
Yeah, yeah,
Now,
definitely.
the funny thing
Breakfast
is,
Rotary.
the breakfast Rotary, when we had them on the program, everybody that I talked to, they said they came for a meeting, and next thing you know, they were the president, they were something on the board.
Exactly.
I'm like, okay, I can't come to the meeting because I cannot come down here like that. Let's talk about the partnership between business, the community, and like community type organizations.
Yes, it is really important, and I'm one of those too, Mike. I came to a Rotary meeting, became
And look
president.
at that.
You know, then
There's something there.
Yeah, exactly. And then I went on to be area governor, and I appreciate the friendships and the business network that Rotary created and is still building today. And I'm giving you an example of that, Mike, is the fact of having Poplar Springs involved with Rotary, and then involved with the city of Petersburg. And I have something I'm working on as far as making a gateway park into the city of Petersburg.
Okay.
Based on the Poplar Springs is assisting along with the Rotary Clubs of Petersburg, Colonial Heights. They're coming together to create a park in the center of the city with some green space, walking, planting trees, make it nice, and a welcome to Petersburg sign, in which we're gonna have flowers and everything printed, planted, and be able to show people the beautiful side of Petersburg when they enter. But yet, this is something that didn't cost us anything from the city. We provided the land, the Rotary Club provided the muscle and allowed the money, and then donations from organizations like Poplar Springs is helping make it a reality. So the public-private partnership is definitely what we're all about here in the city of Petersburg.
There's one last question as I know you're a busy man, have to get out of here. Let's talk about governing so we have a new administration in the last couple of years.
Yes.
It was friendly for the Democrats. Their life was somewhat easier.
Right.
What's the idea, and how do you govern with the opposing party? Like, what does that change for you and the city of Petersburg?
You got to realize we had Governor Youngkin here a couple of weeks ago for a COVID type of roundtable with all our community partners, and it was a wonderful event. And I must say that Petersburg has been a Democrat stronghold for quite some time, but we really welcome Governor Youngkin and welcome the perspective that he brings to the table. Because in the city of Petersburg, we're not so much now on who's Democrat and who's Republican. We want results.
That's what I'm talking about.
And the city of Petersburg, we need help. And we told Governor Youngkin that is several things in this budget, like we talked about the Poor Creek infrastructure that we have inside the budget. We talked about being able to tear down the Ramada. And in the COVID vaccination event we had, we discussed how being that we are a minority city, we don't have the access to good medical care facilities. You know, we typically have to go to Colonial Heights to go to the patient versus and what's
the docs. We call them docs in the box.
Yeah, the docs in the box. But Governor Youngkin made a commitment to Petersburg that he's going to bring some healthcare facilities here to help the citizens of Petersburg to have more access. And what I'm talking about, the better meds of the world.
That's right, better meds.
Right. So he's given me his word that that's what he's going to do. And we have had a good exchange right now, and I'm happy that we've established that. So I'm very optimistic of having a good term here with Governor Youngkin, and I feel like that he's going to represent for all Virginians, and I don't see him because he's not a old establishment type of guy. He's coming to this new from the business world, so he see things from a business perspective,
which is
right?
always good.
Which is always good, you know.
So let me add really quickly, as on your way out, what was the draw to public service for you, and how do we find the next you of young people to go out there to take? The politics part is hard. Now,
Yes, it
before
is.
I came to ESPN, like I said, I was on, shout out to John Fredericks and my good friends over on WJFN radio, conservative radio, taught me this business.
Yes.
Where do we find that? Because where do we find the next generation of you guys? Because it's brutal.
Yes, it is.
I mean, to run for
It's brutal.
office,
It is.
you
It's
better
brutal.
put the big boy pants on,
It's very
and
brutal.
you're gonna go through it.
Yes, and I've seen a lot of that too. Just in my short time here, I've understood that you can see why it's so difficult, because to do what's right, a lot of times you got to fight for what you know is right. And in the city of Petersburg, I learned that it's so easy to do nothing and be status quo just to keep from getting the criticism. But to do something different and to improve, you got to put yourself out there and take a stance. And it's something that I've been thankful of having the opportunity. But to get back to what you were saying, Mike, about who really introduced me to this, and it was Herman's father, who was the first African-American mayor here in the city of Petersburg.
Okay.
He when I was in my teenage years, he was saying that, he says, Sam, you should think about running for city council, because we need people like you to step up and serve. You've been raised here, you're working in the family business with your dad, you understand business, you understand your community. We really need people in your generation to step up. And rest in peace to Mr. Fauntleroy, but he was really the person that talked to me and explained that element to me. And I have to do the same thing. I have to go out here and recruit that next generation of leadership to lead the city of Petersburg, because if we don't, nobody will, because it's one of the huge secrets that you have in living in any locality is how your government works. Everyone just know when they call 911, the police come, the fire come. Look, when they turn the faucet, the water's on. You know, you flush the toilet, everything goes.
They don't know all the
they
things
don't
that
know
go
the
into
details
it
of what it takes to make all of that happen. So just getting out here and talking to my young guys, because I have a great group of young guys. Just to tell you about what went on with the George Floyd thing. We had, some peaceful protests and stuff here in the city of Petersburg, and all of them went really well. We had no violence or anything, but I was able to really touch a lot of those young people, Mike, because they really want to be involved in their community. Sure, the protests exposed a different level of interest from a different generation. And I've been able to talk to a lot of those young guys and get them plugged in now, because they want to do something, but they don't know what. Because most of us, we weren't taught on how government works.
No.
And how change happens. It's not fast. It's a gradual process that you have to do. But it starts with you getting involved local, because all politics is local. And you start here in a small city like Petersburg, and the sky's the limit. The only thing I regret, Mike, is not getting involved earlier. I wish I would have done it back in my 20s. All right. Now I'm in my 40s thinking, man, I wish I could have done it. Yeah.
What's the difference?
Early. Yeah.
Really quickly, so I had asked Mayor Stoney, I'd asked him, what will history say about him 100 years from now? What would you want it to say? And he said, I wanted to say that I made a difference.
Right.
I wanted my administration to be consequential. What will you want your people to say about your administration 100 years from now?
I would want them to say that back in the 2000s, 2016, 2017, there was a mayor named Sam Parham that inherited a city that was almost bankrupt. And he fought like hell to keep it from going bankrupt, to get the city on solid financial footing. And he grew what is now a strong Petersburg economy that has been weak for so many years. I want them to be able to say that, hey, he went to bat for us, and now we're known as a thriving, wealthy city now in Virginia. And we were that once before, and he was the catalyst of us being that again.
There you go. That's a drop the mic moment right there. Mr. Mayor, thank you for your time. On the mic with Mike. We'd like to thank our show sponsors, Tom Trudry, the credit card guy. Poplar Springs is another. Andy Taylor, Junk Luggers. All the folks who make this possible, that we're able to come and talk to game changers like the mayor right here. So on the mic with Mike, the best business radio program around. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks now.